You have a brilliant idea, a project, a business, a book. You've researched for 50 hours, you have a 70-page plan, and your computer is glowing with 123 open browser tabs. You know more about this topic than almost anyone, yet you've produced nothing. What you call thoroughness, what you call due diligence, is actually the most sophisticated form of self-sabotage your brilliant brain has ever invented. But here's what neuroscientists have just discovered. This isn't a character flaw, it's a predictable bug in high-performance brains. And today, I'm not just going to show you that bug, I'm going to give you the code to fix it. I'm going to show you exactly how your powerful brain builds its own cage, and how you can pick the lock, not with willpower, but with neuroscience. We're not talking about cheesy productivity hacks. We are talking about rewiring the physical structure of your brain. By the end of this video, you will understand the precise neurological loop that traps you, and you will have 3 specific, science-backed tools to break that loop, starting today. This is not theory. These are facts about the machine inside your skull. Your intelligence is your greatest asset, right? That's what we're all told. A higher IQ means better problem-solving, faster learning, deeper thinking. But what if that's only half the story? What if the very thing that makes you brilliant is also the source of your biggest roadblock? Look, let's be honest. You've been there. You have to write an important email. An average person spends 5 minutes, writes it, and sends it. You, on the other hand, spend 45 minutes. You think about the perfect opening line. You model 17 different ways the recipient could misinterpret your tone. You draft it, you redraft it, you walk away, you come back, you change 1 comma, and then you stare at the send button for another 5 minutes, your heart pounding just a little. Sound familiar? This isn't a coincidence. A landmark study out of Stanford in 2021 took a group of individuals with exceptionally high cognitive flexibility. That's a key component of intelligence, the ability to see a problem from many different angles. They gave them a complex business problem to solve and track their progress while monitoring their brain activity using fMRI. The researchers expected the high flexibility group to solve the problem faster. They didn't. They took, on average, 22% longer just to initiate the first step. Think about that for a second. Their brains were so good at generating possibilities, so good at seeing potential pathways and also potential pitfalls that they got stuck. The fMRI scans showed their prefrontal cortex, the logical, planning part of the brain, was lit up like a Christmas tree, running so many simulations at once that it couldn't commit to a single path forward. They weren't lazy. They were mentally overwhelmed by their own horsepower. And here's where it gets worse. Your brain doesn't just see more options for success, it sees more options for failure. Every brilliant strategy you devise comes with 10 brilliant ways it could go wrong. Every clever solution is shadowed by 20 clever criticisms. You're not just planning a project, you're living in a multiverse of potential catastrophes, all generated by your own mind. It's exhausting. And it leads to a state neuroscientists call analysis paralysis. So the question is, if your brain's greatest strength is the cause of this paralysis, are you just doomed to overthink forever? Well, it's actually much worse than you think, because your brain has developed a chemical addiction to this state of inaction. So what is actually happening inside your brain when you're staring at that blank page, caught in the loop of endless research? This isn't psychology, this is biology. This is a neurochemical war happening inside your skull, and right now, you're on the losing side. Let's meet the 3 key players in this battle. First, you have your prefrontal cortex, or PFC. Think of your PFC as the CEO of your brain. It's responsible for logic, long-term planning, and executive function. Your high-performance brain has a world-class CEO. It can create incredibly detailed strategies. It can simulate the future with astonishing accuracy. But here's the problem. You're giving it a task like start a business, and its response is to try and map out every single possibility from day 1 to year 10. It creates a plan with 1,472 steps. It's a CEO that's so good at strategy that it never actually leaves the boardroom to start the work. It's creating a perfect map for a journey it never begins. Now, enter the second player, your amygdala. This is your brain's threat detector. It's the primitive, emotional bodyguard. Its only job is to scream danger to keep you safe. As your brilliant PFC simulates the future, it doesn't just simulate success, it simulates every possible way you could fail, every typo in the email, every awkward silence in the presentation, every negative comment on the video, every dollar lost in the business. And for every one of these potential failures, your amygdala, the bodyguard, sees a real and present threat. It can't tell the difference between a real tiger and a potential embarrassing social situation. To the amygdala, a threat is a threat. So what does it do? It hits the big red button, and that unleashes our third player, cortisol. This is the stress hormone. It floods your system, putting you in a state of low-grade chronic fight or flight. Your heart rate increases slightly, your muscles get tense, your brain screams one thing: avoid the threat. And what is the perceived threat? The task itself, the blank page, the send button. Stop. This is the critical moment. Your body is now in a state of stress, trying to escape a threat your own brain invented. So how does it escape? It escapes into the one thing that feels safe and productive. More planning, more research, opening one more tab, watching one more video about how to be productive, and then, boom, the trap snaps shut. Every time you open another article, every time you add another item to your to-do list, your brain gives you a tiny, delicious hit of dopamine. Dopamine is the molecule of motivation and reward, but it's been hijacked. You're getting the chemical reward not for doing the work, but for preparing to do the work. Your brain is literally becoming addicted to the act of planning because it provides all the feeling of progress without any of the risk of failure. It's a perfect loop. The PFC overanalyzes, the amygdala perceives threat, cortisol creates stress, and you escape the stress by doing more research, which gives you a dopamine hit, which feels good and reinforces the entire cycle. Which you call laziness, your brain calls self-protection. It has found a brilliant way to protect you from the perceived danger of failure by rewarding you for staying in the safety of the planning phase forever. You're not broken. Your brain is just running a faulty, self-protecting program. The good news? We can debug it. All right, so you're caught in a neurochemical trap. How do you get out? You don't fight your brain. You don't try harder. You outsmart it. You use its own rules against it. Here are 3 brain-based techniques you can use, not next week, but today. First, the 2-minute activation. Procrastination isn't about the task itself, it's about the activation energy required to start it. The threat of writing a book is massive, and your amygdala will scream bloody murder, but the threat of opening a document and writing one sentence, it's 0. The 2-minute rule is simple. Whatever the task is, force yourself to do it for only 2 minutes. Not to finish it, just to start for 120 seconds. Here's the neuroscience. An action this small doesn't trigger the amygdala's threat response. You sneak past the bodyguard. By the time the 2 minutes are up, 2 things have happened. 1, you've started, and the neurochemical momentum makes it easier to continue. 2, you get a small hit of real dopamine, dopamine associated with actual execution, not just planning. This begins the process of rewiring your reward system, so your task isn't go to the gym, it's put on your running shoes. That's it. Your task isn't write the report, it's open the file and write the title. Second technique, prefrontal cortex threat framing. Your amygdala is scared of vague, undefined monsters. Your PFC, your CEO, is brilliant at dealing with concrete, defined problems. So, we're going to transfer the job from the emotional bodyguard to the logical CEO. This is a 3-step process. Step 1, define. Take out a piece of paper and write down the absolute worst-case scenario if you move forward with this task and fail. Not, it will be bad. Be specific. My boss will criticize the report in an email. I will lose $200. 10 people will see my video and think it's stupid. Get it out of the shadows and into the light. Step 2, quantify. Next to each fear, use your logical PFC to assess the real probability on a scale of 1 to 100% of this actually happening. And what's the real impact on a scale of 1 to 10? You'll quickly realize that most of the monsters your amygdala is screaming about have a 2% chance of happening and an impact of 3 out of 10. Step 3, repair. For the few realistic fears, write down 1 or 2 specific actions you would take to recover. If my boss criticizes the report, I will ask for specific feedback and submit a revised version. Your PFC now has a concrete plan. This process signals to the amygdala that the threat has been assessed, contained, and is manageable. Control calms fear. Third and finally, the 80% protocol for neuroplasticity. Perfectionism is the engine of analysis paralysis. We need to physically rewire your brain to value completion over perfection. Every time you complete a task, you strengthen the neural pathways for action. Every time you get stuck in planning, you strengthen the pathways for rumination. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Right now, your perfectionism neural pathway is an 8-lane superhighway. Your good enough and done pathway is a muddy dirt road. Your mission is to pave that road. For the next 7 days, I want you to pick one small thing each day and intentionally complete it to an 80% standard. Send the email that's good, not perfect. Post the photo that's great, not flawless. Finish the workout that was 75 minutes, not the planned 90. Every time you do this, you are casting a vote for a new brain. You are using the power of neuroplasticity to build a physical bias for action. You are teaching your brain at a cellular level that the reward comes from shipping the work, not for perfecting the plan. This is not about a moral failing. You are not lazy. You are not a procrastinator. You are a person with a high-performance brain that developed a faulty survival strategy. Your brain wasn't broken. It was trying to protect you from a threat it overestimated. It was trying to keep you safe from failure, criticism, and judgment. But that identity is now in the past. It's an old story. The information you have now changes everything. You are no longer someone who is at the mercy of their brain's automatic loops. You are the operator of that brain. You understand the mechanism. You see the cortisol trap. You see the dopamine hijack. And now you have the tools to intervene. You are not a procrastinator. You are a person who is actively retraining a brilliant brain to serve your highest goals. Think about that. You are now in the driver's seat. Average brains react. Trained brains choose. From this moment forward, you choose. Subscribe. Not because I'm asking you to, but because understanding the user manual for your own brain is the single most important skill of the 21st century. What you learn today is the patch for one specific bug. Subscribing is how you get the full system upgrade. And in the next video, we're not just going to get you to start tasks. We are going to dive into the neuroscience of the flow state, and I will show you how to trigger it on command, turning that brilliant, distractible mind of yours into an unstoppable force of focus. You don't want to miss that. Subscribe now, and let's continue rewiring your brain for peak performance.